Last speaker, Mr. Mehraj Dube. He is an award-winning broadcaster and is currently working in the leadership team at the Statesman Group in New Delhi. As Vice President, New Initiatives at the Statesman, Mr. Dube is leading several new initiatives in branding, events and editorial space. Mehraj is admired for his original thinking ability, for a creative approach to find solutions and implement ideas. He can work with these in different cultures and geographies with an ability to shift roles as a leader and a follower. With experience in news reporting, news presenting, current affairs debate shows designing, marketing and content positioning, Mehraj's international exposure and easy to connect persona makes him stand out in the ever-growing crowd of media professionals. With his ISB Executive MBA, Mehraj wishes to grow as a professional and a manager with substance. Leading teams and designing content has given Mehraj a deeper understanding of the television medium. His experience of anchoring Money Mantra show on NDTV Profit has helped him learn about finer nuances of business in India and abroad. Now may I please welcome Mr. Mehraj Dube.
Good morning, and thank you so much for inviting me here. Distinguished guests, faculty and students. You know, with this kind of distinguished speakers on the panel, I would almost want to hide my TV career past, because TV anchors have an image of not doing their homeworks and and appearing on TV. I must live up to my image, that image. But thank you so much. It's very good to see, like Principal Sir initially said about quality and quantity. It is very good to see college doing this kind of programs, organizing such gathering. And I interacted with one of your students this morning on my way to this place. It was a good, happy moment for me to be here. Good to see research is supported, thoughts are supported. I would want to look at service sectors. Any talk about service sectors, my 5 minutes of analysis of media as an industry and how it is challenged by digital and digital technologies, or call it whatever. But that actually helps us to see how services sector as a whole, or every other sector in that space, is challenged. Because while we discuss what is service industry or what is manufacturing and what are they doing and how are they doing, actually the whole concept of sectors and concept of business has actually changed. So meanwhile, business has changed while we were busy defining these sectors or their audiences. And I, for the moment, am working with newspaper industry. And it is really under a heavy threat of digital. And let me try and explain that by asking students how many of them were last night up till midnight updating something on their Facebook account. Can we raise hands? Any social media page that you touched last night till 11 o'clock? Everyone? Including you? All of you are a threat to my business. You want to eat away my job as of today. So I better be careful. That is the challenge actually. It's not just media, any sector, especially services sector, is how business is changing and how we are failing to understand that. And how, if social media is actually making you drowsy in the morning and not picking up my newspaper, I better be worried about the entire sector, because some companies would recognize that, others would not, and that's how the whole sector is defined, if I'm allowed to say that. So, in fact, that way, these days 500 likes on Facebook page is easier, and getting 50 sincere audience is tough. So you manage more than 100 sincere listeners, that's a great achievement. Let me tell you how in my industry currently people fear about pages of Times of India because they are publishing lakhs of pages every day. Another day when I was interacting with a friend at Times of India, he said, we are doing, I said, you also have very good digital apps, and I often go to your app to check out news flashes and all. And then I learned that they were doing more than 1 billion pages on digital. So somebody who was worried about their brick and mortar pages, the tangible pages, should rather be now worried about their 1 billion pages on digital. And that's how companies are being defined. So maybe they are people who have recognized the digital challenge very well and jumped onto that stage to manage that business very well. That actually tells us that if we are doing 1 billion pages, somebody among us is doing 1 billion pages on digital. We are doing software exports like Sir said sometime back. It is time to also talk about services sector as a strength of this country. Just when we have our leader talking about Make in India every other day, we should perhaps also be saying, service from India. You could service the global needs through our businesses here. But the challenge, let me count 2-3 challenges for media sector as such, and then perhaps that's what that's what teaches me how the entire business and service sector is under a challenge. Because anybody from Delhi to Burkina Faso to Boston can challenge anybody's business, and that is what the nature of our times. While we analyze our national figures and sectoral figures. So one challenge is, like I said, 1 billion pages of Times of India on the digital. Other is the hierarchy of organizations themselves are completely broken. If I am not listening to my junior or his idea today, if I don't take out that much time for it, you never know what that idea is going to do to my business sometime later, because it's all broken. The organization as we know is completely broken. So whether it's media or education or various other services sector or sometimes even manufacturing, how we connect is completely changed. How a small town in US with good data on the web has been teaching millions of people English in China through broadband, and various such examples. I don't even want to name them. You already are a part of such examples. Then, how in media we are always discussing, is digital going to replace us? Is digital going to replace newspaper? Is TV going to die? Is my job going to survive 5 years from now? Will we need reporters anymore? Because we might not need reporters, because all the ministers are actually tweeting their statements. So why should I send a guy, salaried person, to speak to a minister who has already sent me his statement? And various such debates are on. And I think that's why it's become more important to know that business formats are no more relevant. What is relevant is the message, the delivery of your message, how your product is reaching out to your audience, to your customer, and whether it's TV or it's newspaper or it's Twitter or it's mobile phone, that's really just part of the game. It's just your routine thing. Only businesses and services that could deliver their real worth to the customer or to the audience will survive, whether it is education. I hear Wharton School from University of Pennsylvania, sir, they have made all their core courses of their leading MBA free. They put all their content, which was highly valued, free on the web. So people are asking, why are you charging that much fee if you want people to come and do MBA with you, because all your core courses are now free online, and then they're saying we are only charging for the peer group and the experience that you have at our campus, because best of minds will sit in the class and discuss. So how the delivery has become so important. While we thought we will build, like other day a friend of mine was telling me that he was speaking to a financier and actually a big industrialist, and he said, I want to build a world-class university somewhere around Delhi. And he said, okay, but do you know what is a world-class university? Because perhaps that industrialist was actually thinking about a big building, great campus, all digitized lab, this, that, as we talk about, other day in a school, I was there and people were talking, look at this, look at our sports campus, this, that. But ultimately, yes, infrastructure matters, but the message delivery has become hugely important. Hierarchies have gone. In fact, in media, since I'm talking about only that sector, languages are playing a very different role. So languages always played a role in the growth of different organizations. But the way regional languages are growing on digital is mind-blowing. Everybody is working on that now. Then one little example about consumer insight, I want to count Quicker's example. Last year I was moving cities and trying to sell old stuff on these classifieds, Quicker and OLX and all. And I didn't want to leave my mobile number on that little classified. I wasn't sure if my wife would be comfortable if I gave her number because she was left behind, I was moving cities. And at the same time my sister was also moving cities. And she was very upset because her husband gave her mobile number on OLX or Quicker. And that's when in a week's time, I saw Quicker's campaign about how you don't have to leave your mobile number on the classified when you are selling your old sofa, old furniture. Because there was somebody on Quicker working to find a consumer insight from me or from my sister or from my wife about not being comfortable of giving my phone number, not comfortable about leaving my phone number on their website or on their classified. And that's one good example. And it is possible to work on such consumer insights with digital. So whether it's education, media, again, I need to repeat, no matter what sector you are, the insight of the end person, whether it's a student or a consumer, has become so important that it has power to change the game for you, change the game against you. It could shake universities up, it could change schools, it could change big media organizations, they've already done that. It could change the way we were buying things, they've done that. So needless to add more examples. Another example I want to take from media sector is the information overload. If you are, no matter who you are, you might have a big name in media, but now suddenly challenge is whether do I stand out in the overgrowing information pages. It is such an overload that it has become almost impossible to show the worth of your a copy, or a news item, or a video in its full form. Because like I said, almost all of you were busy on your social pages till last night. If I am publishing a great story this morning, I haven't even got your attention to look at it because you wouldn't have seen my newspaper this morning, or sometimes even my digital pages, or sometimes even my Facebook account, because everyone has 5,000 followers, and so that's where for services sector it has become more important to stand out, find ways to get attention, which is the most expensive thing these days, more so with youngsters. And I'm sure there are so many people in education sector here, you must be finding it difficult. And that's why I see, all these school boards from different states getting together and writing to HRD ministry that they don't want to continue with this examless system for kids. I see complete insecurity among teachers there. Because if kids are not, they're saying why teachers अपने बच्चों में sincerity खत्म हो गई जी. 8वीं का बच्चा क्योंकि exam नहीं है इसलिए पढ़ता नहीं. I see that as an insecurity of the teacher. Teachers are failing to grab attention from child, and then they are complaining that children are not sincere. It's we who have to find ways to grab their attention, match our ways where we could pass the message. Like I said, message delivery has become so important there as well. I have a friend who is in digital business and gave a very good example. I was saying, what happened? I don't know, how many of you here have Rediff Mail as email address? You have one, two? Okay, you have one. So, and probably you made this address probably before 1995, like I did, right? It doesn't work. So I have a Rediff mail address, and I was quite impressed when I was in mid-90s. I had these goose people कि भाई एक Rediff का मैंने email address अपना खोल लिया है somewhere 95, 98, I went somewhere there. And then I was going, oh, Rediff was going to be the biggest thing in my life, or Rediff I thought would be the greatest business in the next 10 years. So I was sorry to quote Rediff if someone is sitting here from Rediff, but it's just a good example. I asked this friend of mine, what happened to Rediff? So while they were very good that they sold some part of their business and sat on cash, so they survived 2002 dot-com crash. But later on, what happened to them? So people said, it's digital businesses are like running on treadmill. एक पाँव रखा हुआ है, दूसरा पाँव आपको रखना है. So I think that's a challenge before all services sector businesses. You are on a treadmill, and only constant is change. Digital has done that to you and me, and I'm facing that in media every day. I hope Gaurav agrees with me. Great minds and great products and great brands are feeling completely challenged. Nokia has disappeared the way it was. BlackBerry has disappeared the way it was. Alta Vista was the biggest thing on digital searches, but that was replaced by Google. Even Apple last week is facing numbers challenge. So whether it's Google and all these names, you are only thing that you are facing is change, and you have to face it. That is the only constant. Digital has done that to you, whether it's media or any industry. Education completely, I think, is challenged by that that function around us. So I wish you all a great success with change. And I'm the biggest wall between you and your coffee break right now. So break ke baad. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.